Hey, how you guys doing? My name's Hans, and I'm making this YouTube channel about some of my biggest passions in life, one of them being just different spiritual practices, meditation, yoga, psychedelics, fasting. And for this video in particular, I want to talk about addiction, what it is, why it happens, how to overcome it. And trust me, I'm very qualified to talk about this. So, I had severely bad problems with opiates for 4 years, alcohol as well, and cigarettes for a total of probably 9 or 10. Just smoking and drinking every day. The opiates were just all day. As soon as I woke up, I'd be full-blown withdrawal. Felt like my whole body was engulfed in hellfire. Poison in my veins, it felt like. If I had to explain it, it's like on a level of 1 to 10 pain, the withdrawal from opiates was like an 11, because it's not your body that's experiencing pain from an external source, but it's actually the nerves themselves that are screaming in agony. But I overcame it, thank God. And now I had always heard that, addiction is a spiritual issue. And I was like, you're preaching to the choir. I've done so many different spiritual practices, so many different psychedelics, DMT, LSD, mushrooms, yoga every day, meditating every day. I was like, it's not a spiritual issue. I got that. I already figured that out. Well, after 10 years of dealing with substance abuse issues, it turns out it was a spiritual issue. But it's how your mind, body, and soul all interact, which caused the issue. So, for me at least, the issue arose from not accepting myself in the present moment. And when I was younger, and I did have different spiritual experiences from taking LSD and having these experiences of liberation and just pure infinite love, I was always doing these exercises like yoga, meditating, to always try to get back there and purify myself more and more. I'd experiment with fasting and different diets, just obsessively, seeing how long I could go with fasting off fruit or just whatever it was at the time, to just reach these higher and higher states without ever accepting myself as being perfect in the moment. I thought perfection was something you had to constantly reach after. And I would just constantly beat myself up and put myself down anytime I'd make a mistake. And I never realized I was just perfect here in the moment this whole time. So now, not only that, I also had all this like emotional pain inside. That might be one reason I was constantly trying to reach these states, and that was from obviously beating myself up, but also the programming we all receive from our parents when we're younger. What is good, what is bad, that image of perfection that we all have inside of ourselves, and comparing ourselves to that image of perfection. And it's all lies. None of it's true. It's all bullshit. But when you compare yourself to what you think is perfection in your head, and you're not that, then you start beating yourself up. Overthinking all your fears and what you think is bad, as it enters your mind, it causes all this pain, right? Emotionally, and you feel these vibrations throughout your body of pain. And the way to overcome it is, one, realize that 90% of the thoughts you have in your mind are lies. It comes from society, programmed it into your parents, they programmed it into you. That image of perfection is a lie. Stop comparing yourself to that. There's no such thing as good or bad. You got to stop comparing yourself to good and bad, because then you'll just keep judging yourself. When you die, God's not going to judge you. You're God here right now, and only you can judge yourself. And that's what causes these emotional pain, making you feel like you're in hell, this hellish emotional fire. Whereas you can achieve peace in heaven, nirvana, love in the moment, whatever you call that state of inner heaven. And once you have that state, it's as if the desire for the substance abuse, just whatever that substance of choice you have is, it just, the desire itself goes away. It's not like you have to white knuckle, just sit there and grit your teeth and try to avoid the substance when that desire doesn't even exist in the first place. Of course, you know, once you quit, you might have some physical withdrawals, but they're 10 times, million times easier to deal with when you have that peace and love inside of you. Now, if you have opiate withdrawals and really intense physical pain, I'll get to that in a moment, but in more detail, just know you might want to go to your doctor and switch to something to deal with the withdrawal, and then slowly wean off of that over a very long period of time. Now, getting back to like the spiritual, mental aspect of everything, once you can overcome all those lies in your head, the way to do that is first the awareness that they are in fact lies. Anything else, all that judgment that you've caused yourself and all that pain, you have to use forgiveness as the tool to heal that emotion. And then same with anybody else that wronged you, and every time you think about them, you have like this emotional reaction, and that causes you pain. You don't need to forgive them so they feel better. You got to forgive them so that you feel better on the inside. And that will heal up a lot of the root cause of that desire for taking a substance to heal that, so that you can feel peace in the moment. The next thing is meditation. So, like I said, majority, 90% of your thoughts are lies. You right now, the truth is only something you can experience directly. That's what meditation is for, to experience reality without thoughts, so that you're not trapped in this matrix of lies in your mind. But in order to translate that true reality using language, I would say that right now, you are God, you are infinite love. Everything you see right now is love, is God in disguise, including yourself. So meditating, which I've made a video on, if you want to go watch that, teaches you more in depth how to meditate. Meditate allows you to just feel that divine infinite love. So that's the only thing that's going to satisfy your mind, right? Is that love. These addictions come from not feeling that sense of peace and love, and constantly feeding different substances into your body. Let's say you have a food addiction, right? You don't love yourself, you don't feel that love coming out of you, and you just go and eat and eat and eat to try to get the love that's in the food, feel that sense of satisfaction from the food, but it's never going to be enough. You're just going to keep eating and eating. That's, one of the 7 deadly sins, gluttony. Same with cigarettes. It's never going to give you that long-lasting peace. If anything, it's going to make it worse, make it harder to breathe. You're not going to be able to feel that love as you breathe when you're meditating. Alcohol, just you're going to keep drinking just to chase that sense of peace. The more you drink, maybe the less thoughts you might have, and the more just loving and peaceful you feel in the moment. Of course, the next day you'll have a hangover. Same with sex. Sex is a physical need of the body to procreate. It's not going to satisfy your mind. So you have to know that you are not your body. Your body has certain needs, such as sex, drinking water, eating food, breathing air. But your mind, the only need it has is to feel love, which comes from the real you. Your soul also will feel at peace when you feel that love moving through you. But the real you is something that you can't describe using words. It's that awareness, that infinite divine awareness. And you can only experience it directly. Now, next step is to learn how to meditate. Like I said, watch that video. But it's not just sitting in some crisscross applesauce position. That's how you start off in the beginning. As you learn to hold that state of thought, that thoughtless state, you can feel that thoughtless state throughout the day, no matter what you're doing, unless it requires your rational mind to function at work, whatever task you're doing. If it requires your rational mind, obviously you're gonna have to think, like do math, whatever it is you do for work. But other than that, you can just go about your day, driving your car, go for a walk, whatever it is, eat food. You don't need to be thinking all the time. And it becomes very easy to where every time you breathe, you just feel that love. All it takes for you to be happy is to just breathe. Because God is in the air, God is love. You just feel it, you breathe it in, breathe out, and you're at peace in heaven. And all those desires for the addiction, the desire itself is going to go away because you have what you need mentally. Now let's talk about getting over the physical withdrawal. You can obviously go cold turkey with some substances. Certain ones like alcohol and benzos, they can cause death if you go cold turkey. So what I recommend is talk to your doctor. But what I did to get off opiates was to switch to something less dangerous and wean off over 6, 7, 8 month period. Because I had quit cold turkey, countless times, and I would always fall back. Whether it was 2 weeks later, a month later, 2 months, 5 months, just always fall back because that root cause was never healed. And so whatever you're addicted to, you probably have a tolerance to it, right? So that's why I say talk to your doctor, switch to something you don't have much of a tolerance to, so you can take a much smaller amount and then even wean off of that a little bit every single day. And talk to your doctor about making a regimen to wean off over time so that you feel the least physical withdrawals. One, to not die or have seizures if you're on, like an alcohol or benzo. But if you're on an opiate, it's gonna make it so that you don't have to sit in that unbearable hell of intense pain for 2-3 weeks. And then just keep in mind that, after the first couple weeks, maybe that first intense period of withdrawal is gone. But for me, it took about 9, 10, 11 months before I was 100%. So it felt like I was like always at 97% healed, back to normal without withdrawal. But it took almost a year to get that final last 3% of feeling good again, after I quit opiates, before I felt completely normal. That might have been due to me drinking all the time. After I quit opiates, I went to drinking. So that's one reason it could have taken longer. But when it came to drinking, I just did the same thing. I would just wait later and later in the day to have a drink, and then I would drink less and less each time, until it would be 11 o'clock at night and I would have one beer to go to sleep. And then the next day I would not be able to sleep, but I'd quit, right? But you can talk to your doctor about medicine for that and stuff. So that's the struggle I went through, what helped me quit the addictions. I hope it can help you. The other thing is, if you ever relapse, the main thing is to not beat yourself up about it. You think, like, if you beat yourself up about it, it's going to teach you a lesson not to do it again in the future, right? But that will make you feel less love in the moment, make it even harder to stay clean. So you need to just forgive yourself, know that you are a perfect divine being as you are right now, regardless of what that image of perfection you have in your mind is. You have a factory that makes infinite love inside of you as a divine spiritual being. You are perfect. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just love yourself to heal yourself. Don't beat yourself up to heal yourself, because it's not gonna work as well. The other thing that I forgot to mention was I had relapsed a couple times after I'd gotten clean from opiates, and this was 5, 6, 7 years ago. If I take opiates now, I still have withdrawals. So just remember that if you wait 2 weeks, don't think you can take an opiate now that you've been 2 weeks sober and you're not gonna immediately go back into withdrawal, because maybe you won't, but for me, I did. Don't think you can wait a month to take the substance thinking, oh, well, I can just have a fun time, because you might go back into withdrawal. Same thing, 6 months later, 9 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. For me, at least, those pathways, I guess, in my nervous system and my brain, it just got so used to having that substance inside of me at all times that if I take it, I'll feel horrible after. So that could happen to you, just as a warning. Now, I really hope this helped you guys. I talk about a lot of different spiritual stuff on this channel, as well as just all my passions, cars, traveling, work. I'm in sales. If that's something you're interested in, you want to see more of, hear more from me, please subscribe. I'm going to make some more videos about different spiritual practices, ancient yoga, not that bullshit you see soccer moms do at Lifetime to get a fat ass. No, I'm talking about the real shit that elicits a transcendental spiritual state of liberation, where you feel such intense love after you do it. Just different stuff like that, psychedelics. And it's going to be fun talking about it with you guys. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. Just like and subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace. Later.